Welcome to the show. Before beginning, y'all might be asking me a lot. Why are you continuing to stick with this virus and you're doing it all every day? It's all just a big hoax. We all know that cases are rising every day. I don't care about wearing masks. The whole reason for this is because I'm trying to bring you the very latest since your local news. So that to get you up to speed. So I can let you know that you can't, this virus is a big deal. You can't just be all like, I don't care about wearing masks. Wearing a mask makes me sick. Look, I understand that you don't like wearing masks at all, but really the biggest thing ever that you must do is try to wear one every time. You're going to go shopping, you're going to run errands, you're going to go on the date, events, weddings. All events have been canceled due to COVID. The cases are on the rise every day. You must wear a mask. So let's point this out right now. We're now up to 18,000 cases. Over 18,000. 65 cases. No new cases of travel or person-to-person contact. 112 under investigation. We're now up to confirmed positive. We're now up to 14,500 confirmed positive cases. Over 3,000, we're down close to 10,000 who have recovered. Hospitalized, nothing's going to get done if it's just no one actually cares about this virus. They just rather go somewhere without wearing a mask. Look, the guidelines are very simple by your state governor. You need to wear a mask every time. If you have a medical condition, you cannot wear a mask. If you in some states they have exemption cards for people who don't want to wear a mask. That's not going to work in all states. Because they will require you to wear a mask. If you have a breathing problem and your doctor says you cannot wear a mask, then when you go to the store, you need to show medical proof to the employees that you cannot wear a mask. It is the law by your state governor. It's not me talking, it's your state governor. And it is a big deal here because the biggest thing that's been happening here is that no one cares. They would rather not do this. And I'm telling you right now, this virus is a big hoax. It's a big deal. All masks are mandatory when you walk in that door. To a grocery store, to a restaurant, wherever you go, when you walk in that door, you have your mask ready. If you don't have your mask, go get one from your car. If you can't afford a mask, that's your problem. If you can't afford a mask, that's your problem. It's just that simple. These cases are on the rise, but particularly one reason. No one wants to wear a mask. That is the big deal. No one wants to wear a mask because no one cares. And if you want to fight this thing, go ahead and fight it, but it won't do. But the big thing I have is that people don't want to go anywhere. They just rather have people deliver their groceries. That's fine. But when you go out, I'm saying, if you're going to decide to go out and go do your grocery shopping, you need to wear a mask. And that's the other problem I have. A bit later on, I'm going to tell you about my wedding experience. that I had last week. And it's just to remind you why all events have been canceled and why no one in that wedding decided to wear a mask but 2 people. One person was a photographer, one was my sister. And my sister does get the message. I could have her on in future shows to help explain this, to help tell you personally, but nobody is going to get that message. When we come back here, why Zoom has been shut down with all glitches. Then later on, a new special I'm working on for the show this week. 2 specials actually. The Guide to Parenting. It's the Give Me a Break Guide to Parenting. And the Give Me a Break Workplace Confidential series that I'm still working on. We did it last year, but last few seasons, but we're still going to do it again. Stay with us. Let's jump right into this because this is going to haunt me for the rest of this will haunt me for the rest of my life. As you guys knew, I took Friday and Saturday off, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday off for the show because of the wedding. My brother's wedding, actually. Congrats to my brother out there, but I'm not here to talk about what happened. I'm not here to talk about the bride. I'm here to talk about what happened at the wedding. 2 people wore a mask. My sister and the photographer. They actually know the guidelines because they work for their employees. So, why am I making such a big fuss out of this? Because no one understood the rules. Not everyone here understood the rules. 3 people. Actually, it was 3 people who wore a mask. Because they actually follow the guidelines like me. I brought masks for everyone at the wedding. No one gave a shit. I put it right there on that table. No one gave a shit. They'd rather go to the wedding maskless. If everyone at that wedding got the virus, then this finger's been pointed at you. The person out there who decided to not wear a mask. It is very important you must. I've been telling you this all the damn time on the show. You need to wear a mask. It's no joke. Just because the Texas reopen does not give you the right to just wear a mask every time. No. You just need to wear a mask whenever you go out to a family event or out grocery shopping or out to eat or something, except for when you're eating or drinking. That's the only time you should not wear a mask. And if you have a medical condition. No one cares. I could have just said, I object, and said, not everyone in this wedding is wearing a mask. It's like, what for? It's the virus. The cases on the rise. I mean, right before I left the wedding, I did research on Amico, Texas, and their cases are like 1,000, where we're up to 10,000. Harris County's not doing a very good job with their 90,000 cases. They'd rather not care. But my biggest concern here is that the next time the wedding happens, you need to pack masks and sanitizing equipment. And wash your hands every single time so that no one can get sick. Cases are on the rise, people have died from this, and they'd rather sit there and not care. You'd rather go, cases on the rise, I don't care. And the beaches have reopened because the laws that we talked about last week, 2 weeks ago. No one actually cared. That beach was reopened for one reason. Because of that lawsuit. Was that the whole case? We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. Is the beach going to stay open? Well, a bit later on the show, well, not that I know of. When we return here, many people have buried. Tropical Storm Marcos will be heading this way with a lot of rain. Many Texans are preparing themselves. And when we come back here, what happened before a month ago before Hannah that got me really concerned. There weren't even a lot of people over where they would just took that day off to prepare for Hannah. After this. Watching the tropics right now, we have two storms coming this way. Marcos is going to be heading west of us, while Laura is going to be heading to Louisiana. Many Texans have been prepared, are preparing for the storm. Be curfews, all 23 counties, which is us, have been ordered a mandatory evacuation. Mandatory means everyone. That doesn't mean that it's your choice. If your state governor declares mandatory evacuation, that means that you need to evacuate, period. No ifs, ands, buts, or excuses. And there's going to be no problem here because no one cares. I mean, this storm might be hitting west of us, and all 23 counties here in the state of Texas have issued mandatory evacuations. And no one possibly cares. They'd rather just not evacuate. They'd rather just stay here and prepare for the storm. That's where Hannah came in a day before. Hannah came in on Saturday, and then where I work, many people took off to prepare for the storm. It's like, dude, prepare for it on your day off. If you have a day off, you should prepare. Don't just call in and say, I'm going to take today, I'm not going to show up to work today because I'm going to prepare for Hannah so and so, and they're going to tell you, you didn't come till Saturday. But it's good to follow tips from experts. The National Weather Service always says you have to prepare a lot of things. Always has shown you need to have certain items like flashlights, batteries, food, water, and plan out your evacuations at all times. Plan it out. If the power goes out because of the storm, you need to have a generator at hand. If you can't find a generator, you can order one off of Amazon before the storm hits. So we're going into Tuesday, so you got till tomorrow to prepare. So you get prepared, you get till the day. If not, you're screwed. Just like back in Hannah. I had to tough it out. I could not sleep in the heat. Without my fan right behind me, I couldn't sleep. Just try to understand. You need to have an evacuation plan every time and practice it. Have generators in hand, food, water, batteries, flashlights, essential items. At hand. If you don't have essential items, you've got till Tuesday. And always keep an eye on the tropics and watch your local news to make sure that you know you're right. Alright. Okay. In a moment, some specials I'm preparing for. Stay with us. Welcome back. You may remember 2 years ago I did a series called Workplace Confidential, where I talked about all the stuff that happens in workplaces. It's like all places have it. There's acting up / freaking out employees who just flip out. There's people out. There's sex in the office. There's people who have been fired for gum. People who have been fired for certain things, and a lot of things. So that's gonna be one of the specials coming up next week. However, the rest of this week is gonna be focusing on parenting. It's the Give Me a Break Guide to Parenting. That's gonna be happening tomorrow through Sunday. So look for that Wednesday through Saturday, or one of our days. On that special, what we're going to do is focus on parenting tips. Like how to set limits for boundaries, like what types of shows your children can't watch, and a lesson for parents and bad habits, and teaching your children bad habits. What good habits you should be teaching them, and what bad habits you shouldn't be doing in front of your children. Because let's face it, if you smoke in front of your kids, they're going to start learning from the person who does it. Because as a parent, you need to be a role model for the person. Like if you're going to think about having kids, there are some things you got to throw away. You got to throw away your drinking. You got to throw away the drugs. You need to be clean. If you don't do that by the time you have kids, you're going to end up looking like a crackhead. No offense, but that's what happens to people who just drink and smoke and have their kids think about CPS. It's the bitter truth. That's coming up on Give Me a Break Wednesday. So, and also one of the specials I'm working on on Thursday is our Workplace Confidential next week. Workplace Confidential. For all next week, we're going to be focusing in on a lot of things. A lot of things happening in the workplace. From sex in the office to employees who flip out over everything, etc. So look for those two specials coming up the rest of this week. One of the specials coming up this week, the Guide to Parenting, and next week, Workplace Confidential. That's everything. That's all going to be throughout today. Back and rolling. Now there's about to some tragic news right now. There has been a stabbing there was a stabbing earlier today at a Walmart near Caroline where a big football player has been stabbed. What I think happened was before all this, that person who stabbed was identified. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what the punishment is going to be. So, probation, jail time, or community service. And earlier today there was an all-football. This person was a big athlete for all flag in Caroline. So a big funeral was held for that player. So I wish you all the best, and I'm sorry for what happened. Now let's move on to the latest case in Lori Loughlin case. You may remember about this one. This was where months ago, she and her husband decided to get her kids into a college in a scam. This was before COVID. Her and her husband were charged in that scam. And in that courtroom, she apologized that she was deeply, deeply sorry. And so what the judge said is separate sentences. Lori Loughlin got 2 months, while her husband got 5 months. Something really startled me. Like, you have one person who's a star and another person who's the husband. Like, why not receive equal sentences? 2 people, 5 months in prison. people will be like, well, yeah, that may be true, but what about COVID? Have to wear masks at the prison. Mandate masks. And possibly after that, Lachlan will do community service after those 2 months. So hopefully in October we could know what happened. This is just what's been happening so far. If you want more information, I'm going to put on a timeline of what happened before the trial, after the trial, on our website. That's jcarmy67.wixsite.com/givemeabreak. There you also find some information on all the topics we did throughout all past shows, including topics you'll see only next week. Only this week and next week. Plus more tips on the hurricane safety and all that stuff, what you need to do, what you need to prepare, what you need to do, what you need to prepare for. Plus all the other times we've done in all my other videos. And that's all for this edition. Give me a break. Monday going into Tuesday. We'll see you again. For Give Me a Break Tuesday for our Guide to Parenting series. For all of us here at YouTube, have a great night, everyone.